All right, howdy cats. Hey, we're back to put a handle on this picture. I also wanted to show you the other one that I put together while I was waiting for this to firm up a little bit. Right, and on this one, I left the connection point very rough, and then I'm gonna build some kind of twisty legs on it and do that with the legs as well, so that it'll be kind of a fun little leggy pot. But anyway, okay, so when you're gonna put a handle on a larger than a mug kind of piece, right, there are different approaches to it for sure. What I like to do first is just get out some clay and mess around, right? Because we've got enough clay, so it's not a bad thing. But you know, just even take like just a little coil and kind of put it up there. Like, do we like it to stick out like that? I'm thinking no. Is it better squared? Nope. I'm thinking like this. The top is quite small compared to the body. So if the attachment up here is too big, it might make it look even smaller. So maybe I wanna, I don't know, maybe I wanna reverse that attachment. I'm not very sure, but I did one of these two with the big attachments at the top and bottom to kind of see how that goes. That's not bad. I don't mind that as much. I think that looks better with the smaller attachment at the top. Then maybe, you know, do we want to attach right at the top rim? Does that look better? Yeah, maybe. Still seems a little heavy though. Like the, you know, like the connection for the handle is wider than the spout. So that's maybe a little too big. So what happens then if we go, right, so this is just a big old handle that I pulled. Right, ooh, maybe we go in and out, maybe we do some fun, fancy things. Nope, the form itself is just too functional for that. But maybe that's not, well, I don't like this. Something like that. Yeah, something like that, only a little shorter. Yeah, I don't think I want it to come up quite so high, but right. So I like to just start out my handles kind of that way, just to get an idea before I commit, right? Because once you slip and score and commit to a handle, you kind of want to be sure it's going to look all right, right, and that it's going to function okay, right? So I think that this gap that's built in here, this little waistline, is going to be a very good place for a hand. You know, the weight's down below, so another reason to have kind of maybe a thicker attachment in the bigger part of that form. So I think that'll work. And as luck would have it, Martha Stewart style, I've got a handle made that fits the bill. Right, so I pulled this handle. I pulled it just from a hunk of clay, kind of thinking about measurements, right? And you know, you have a choice. If you want a handle to come straight off of the form, then it can just butt right up to it. But I cut this handle at an angle, right, so that it will come off of that pot in a nice way. And I do want it to be a little closer to the form than this is showing, but I think that once I get this trimmed down and attached, it'll be fine. So, right, pulling a handle off a large form like this, if you're gonna pull it straight off of the form, which you can totally do, it means you've gotta hold it up in the air for quite some time, which can be pretty hard on your arms and things. So I'm gonna show you another approach. And I like to get it kind of close before like we talked about with mugs too, like starting with a nice kind of blank before you attach is a good idea. Now I also want to eyeball this thing so that I'm sure that my attachments are in line with the function, with the spout. So I'm going to work about down here, I think. Yeah, and that's symmetrical. Yep, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to slip and score, and then attach. All right, look at this. I've got my Grover slip all ready to rock. Almost ready to rock. Poked my fingers a little bit. Brush ready to rock. Okay, so I'm going to score this, right? I've already put my kind of lines in, and you guys fortunately can see the spout as well, right? So here's my spout. So I want to go directly opposite my spout when I score. So I'm going to score right in here. And this is a nice leather hard now, which is perfect for attaching. Now keep in mind too, when you're attaching handles to these compound forms or these combined forms, that this piece and this piece are not necessarily at the exact same stages of dryness. God, I always catch stuff with my fingernails. So that complicates the drying factor, right, and the shrink factor. So very, very important to, after you put on a handle onto a pitcher, that you let it sit under plastic for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, so that it can all even out, which is important. Does that make sense? I hope so. Yeah, you want to slow down the drying so that it equalizes, right? So even though these are drier than the handle, which they are, the handle's pretty fresh. But if I keep it under plastic while it dries, it will then equalize. That is the hope. Ooh, just got slip in my eye. Doing the old Bob Ross, got a little slip in my eye. Okay, so this is all slipped and scored, right? Very nice. So now I'm going to attach this. I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to squish as I go up, right? So this would work the exact same way if I was working from the top to the bottom as well, except that I would have gravity helping me a little bit more. And as we talked about with handles on mugs, I tend to think that they look a lot fresher and that they look more like they're part of the form, like they just sprung from the form instead of being pre-manufactured and then stuck on the form. That's the look that I really like. And you know, some of those nice, very nice, like Jen Allen mugs and Simon Levin mugs have that quality that I think is quite beautiful. I don't know where my fiddling knife is, and now I'm a little bit stuck. Pretty important to have your tools already. Anyway, okay, so here we are. I've got this attached on the bottom. Now what I don't want to do, right, just like with the mugs we talked about, if we just let that handle go sticking out horizontally, it's going to get very weak at that attachment. I want to ensure that my attachments stay really nice and healthy. So I'm going to keep this part up, right? But I've got my water bucket here, and now I'm going to pull this handle upward, right? Just like as though I was pulling it downward, but it's going to work some nice flexibility into the handle. It's going to give it that fresh, just sprung from the pitcher kind of look. There we go. Right, and this doesn't take any special amount of handle pulling skill, but now I can also kind of go around and think about that leading edge, right? We talked about that quite a bit with the mug handles. If you can do kind of a finger and a thumb, can you see that? And kind of run that up the side of that handle, get that nice kind of lean leading edge. That looks so good. Okay, so now I'm going to think about where it's going to attach, what kind of a shape I want that to have. Ooh, that's quite nice. Oh yeah, I like that little bit of curve there. I've got it symmetrical. I don't really want it to come in quite that much though. There, that looks good. I'm going to move this out a little bit. Cut that, hopefully evenly. Dang it, lost my serrated rib, okay, but here's my spot of attachment. Using the needle tool, going the old-fashioned way, right? This is also a great opportunity now to make sure that I am lined up with my spout, because it's gonna pour really funny if it doesn't, if it's not properly lined up. So a little bit of Grover slip on there, and I honestly probably wouldn't need the slip because This clay, the clay in this handle is so nice and soft and it's kind of making its own slip, but kind of like how that's looking. Oh yeah, that has a nice stretch. Okay, happy with that. I'm gonna put a little finger inside here so I don't dent the top of the pitcher as I secure that. And then I'm gonna go a little low. Oh, I found my serrated rib. Okay, I'm gonna go lower than where I want it cut because I want to put a little finish on that edge. So I'm just gonna kick that up a little bit, right? Not curly cueing it so much, but gonna work that up. Give my attachment a little bit of meat. Do I like that? What do you guys think? It's not bad. Yeah, actually I do like it. What I don't like is how this is pulling down a little bit, and I don't like that I don't have any, I don't have a better attachment up top. So I'm gonna take, again, the clay that I just cut off of that handle because it's at the exact same consistency as the handle. So that's gonna help me as far as drying goes. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna make a little backfill. So I take a little bitty coil for backfill, and then I'm gonna pinch one side of it a little bit so that if you look at it coming down the line, right, so this thin part can go right into that crevice between the pot and the handle. There we go. And physically, this handle probably doesn't need it, but I think visually it does. I think it needs a little more oomph. Maybe even a little bit under there. Right, so, you know, you can, it's sculpting, it's hand building, it's all those skills that you know how to do. It's just bringing them into a thrown form, which is kind of what the point of the combined forms is, to combine your hand building and throwing skills to be able to increase the amount of pieces that you are able to make. You know what? I like that handle more and more every time I look at it. Okay, and this is where I generally, of course now I don't have that tool. I'm gonna grab the baby brush. There we go. It's where I like to grab a nice little baby brush, right into this backfill. I'm gonna do a little back and forth to compress that in. All right, there we go. And we'll work this back. Gonna work this forward. There we go. All right, and the rest of this is just gonna be kind of futzing a little bit to make sure that I've got a handle that looks the way I want it to look. There we go. I hope that helps, guys. I'll have these sitting in my lockers over here that's kind of right next to the wax. They'll be under plastic, but if you want to take a look when you come in, feel free. I've got another really funny one with very playful handles that you might enjoy. I kind of made the blanks for 3 pots, and I finished them all today, so that should be fun. Face jug is the only one that I haven't demoed. I guess we didn't do very sculptural. Yeah, I didn't do a sculptural one either, but Garrett Grimm did a nice job of that for you. You know, just any way to put together some thrown pieces is a great way to go, and I am excited to see what you do. So have some fun. See you later. Bye.